I want to show you exactly what application funnel is, how it works, and how it can work for your specific business. So with that said, let's jump right in. So first thing I want to show you is kind of the diagram of what a high ticket funnel looks like. It looks like this. It's very simple. It's just 3 core pages plus a pop-up. So page number 1 is what we call a reverse squeeze page. This is where you give them some kind of case study or some kind of information about what it's like to actually work with you. And they click on the button, and the next page here on the pop-up, they then ask, they give you their email address. Then the page after that, you take them to a spot where they can actually go apply to work directly with you. And the last page, then you thank them for the application and tell them what's going to be happening next. It's a very simple funnel that's super easy to create and very, very powerful. Now, this is what it might look like if you were to create page number 1, you got a case study, then there's the pop-up for the email address. Number 3 is the application page where they apply to work with you. And then number 4 is the thank you page where you explain what's going to be happening next. Okay? So where do application funnels come from? Now, these work really good if you're in any kind of coaching or consulting, or you're selling high ticket expensive things where typically you need to get somebody on the phone. Now, in an earlier business that I used to have, we made all of our money by actually calling all of our leads. In fact, we built an entire call center. We had 60 full-time salespeople who were calling every single lead that came in, talking to them, qualifying them, trying to figure out who's a good fit, and then we'd sell them our high ticket products and services and coaching and consulting. And it worked well, but it was a lot of overhead, it was a lot of stress, and if anyone's ever worked with 60 full-time salespeople, you know that that can be kind of stressful. And so what we did eventually, I ended up shutting that company down, but I missed selling the really expensive high ticket consulting and coaching and things like that we were doing, and I tried to figure out how do we change this around and make it easier. And so what we did, instead of going and outbound calling every single lead that ever came in, we built these application funnels to qualify all of the people, all of the leads, and find out who was the cream of the crop, and then we would only talk to them. And so we shifted from having 60 full-time salespeople to, when we shifted it to using an application funnel, we went down to having just 1 salesperson. Yes, just 1 salesperson doing the same amount of net revenue as 60 full-time salespeople were doing before. And so I'm going to walk you through exactly how this process works, because it'll give you so much less stress, so much less anxiety, and the same amount of money as having a huge team of salespeople working for you. Okay, so here is how it actually works. Step number 1 is the very first page here in your funnel. You create a case study. Now, a case study about what it's like to actually work with you, a success story, what you do, the results you get for somebody, and you share the success story on the very first page. After someone watches that, they think, hey man, I want that same case study in my business or my life or whatever it is that you're selling. And then the second step in the process then is you have them apply to actually work directly with you. Now, what this does is it takes it from you outbound calling and trying to sell every single person, every single lead you have, to it flips it on its side where we do now what's a takeaway sell. They're now presenting, and it's trying to explain to you through this application why you should choose them as a client. And then on the third page, then you tell them what to expect next. Now for me, it was, hey, in the next 24 hours or so, somebody's going to call you from my office. We're going to review your application and see if you're a good fit. And that way they know what's going to happen. You can then call them on the phone, and then you can sell them the product, the service, the coaching and consulting, whatever it is you're going to be selling on the phone anyway. Now, like I said, what this does is it qualifies, it pre-schedules, it gets everybody ready to be able to work with you directly, and it makes your life so much easier. So next question is like, well, how would you use an application funnel inside of your specific business? Now, every business is different, but there's so many different applications for ways you can use it. Now, if you are selling coaching or consulting, this model, this funnel has been proven. It's processed hundreds of millions of dollars for me and other clients as well. So this works really well if you're doing coaching or high-end consulting. Works really good if you're selling any kind of high-ticket services. If you're selling something that's 10, 20, 30, 50, $100,000 or more, it works really, really, really well there as well. Any kind of professional services, mortgages, finances, anything where there's typically needs to be a phone call involved in selling the product or the service, usually because it's either very specialized or very expensive, the high ticket application funnel will work for you. In fact, almost any business who comes to me saying, well, Russell, funnels don't work for me because I'm selling something that's $50,000. Nobody's going to be able to buy that through a funnel. I tell them, yes, they will. Use a high ticket application funnel, qualify them, and figure out who's the best leads. Have them apply and tell them why they should be using your product, your service, and then you call and just sign up those people and makes your job so much easier and so much better. So here's some of the best practices inside of a high ticket application funnel. Number 1, on the homepage, you want to have some kind of free case study showing what's possible if somebody wants to actually work with you or buy your product or buy your service. Number 2, the goal of this, again, is to share the case study so they can see what it's like to actually work with you. Like that's the magic. It gives them a glimpse of what it would be like if they had a chance to be to have you as an actual client, and it shows them proof, how much proof that you have about why what it is you do will work for them. Okay, number two, then after someone looks at that, they click on the button, and then we have a pop-up that comes up. This pop-up is where we start the application process, where I try to get their email address. Now, I like having more proof. As you can see here in one of mine, I have more proof of what it's like to work with me than I have the call to action. Give me your email address to start the application right now. And this way, if they don't finish the application later, I can send emails or follow up with them until they've actually finished the application. Okay, now I move on to page number 3. Now on this page, guess what I do? I provide more proof. Yes, I want them to understand that working with me is the greatest decision they've ever made in their life. So I give more proof. I have another video here, more success stories, more testimonials, more proof than an application where I ask them to fill out this form to tell me why I should work with you. Notice the shift in perspective here. Instead of me outbound calling leads trying to convince them to buy my product or my service, these people are filling out an application. They've seen all the proof. They've seen the case study. They've seen all these things. Now they're trying to tell me why they should work with me. It changes the entire sales process for you. And then the last page after they fill out the application, again, is then you tell them what to expect next. Thank you so much for applying. Someone on my team is going to give you a call, or feel free to call me on this number if you want to get started earlier. Whatever it is. So tell them what to expect. And that's the last step here inside of a high-ticket application.